I cause that back shot, me go. One time. What about that, Cuzza? That's my song. Good old classic reggae. Oh my goodness, my job. Good old Harlem. Harlem, 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 Harlem Nights, Harlem Frights. My friends. All right, friends, I'm going to have to go in. So, I'm live at lunch, which I shouldn't be because, oh my God, I need to know. I need to write a poll. What would y'all do if, I don't know, I don't know. I'm wondering what y'all would do if y'all were in my shoes. What would the collective do if you were in my shoes? If you were working for a company and they're playing with your money and you haven't been paid in 3 pay periods, what would you do? Would you stay? Would you go? Would you just start making your plans? Like, what do you do when you're a working professional and that's how you pay your bills, that's how you feed yourself, that's how you cover your cost of living, your expenses, only to find out that you're not being paid? And so that's my dilemma with my current job. Been here 2 years. um, I stopped working for them for like 5 months, and then I came back, and maybe I shouldn't have come back. But again, I don't live my life like that. I live my life more like, what happens is supposed to happen. So obviously, I mean, I'm back at the company, and so now everything was fine, but we got shut down for like a month and a half. They were full of violations. I'm a teacher, and so the school was shut down for almost 2 months, but then we still were getting paid. So, unbeknownst to me and the rest of the staff, it wasn't the DOE that was paying us. That the company had took out a loan to pay us. And how now the DOE, they're sending us correspondence. Is like, oh, well, it's not the DOE that's sending it. It's the board. And they're like, oh, we're waiting for funding, and we're waiting for funding, and we're waiting for funding. And so 2 teachers quit. All right, 2 teachers quit. Hi, Kamisha. Hi, friend. Happy afternoon. So two teachers quit. Me personally, I've been, I went on an interview. I did well. They invited me back to do a demo lesson. Came back, did the demo lesson, killed it. 2 days later, they sent me an offer. Offer was not working. The money was not right. So, I'm still trying to thug it out with my job, because at the end of the day, obviously, I'm not just going to walk away and I don't have another job lined up. But, it's really sad because one of my coworkers, another teacher, her phone is off. Like, she didn't even have money to come to work today. And this is very this is frustrating. And so, you're under the pretense, obviously, that, okay, well, if I go to work every day, obviously I'm going to get a paycheck, right? No. So that's frustrating. Hi, Peppa. How are you? Well, I'm okay. I'm luckily for me, I have, people that I could, that help, that I can depend on in terms of finances. But like, who wants to do that? You're a grown ass woman, a grown ass man. Who wants to sit up there and be borrowing money from family and things like that to pay bills? This shit is like so wicked. And, it makes me feel like, you know what? This whole teaching thing is not what it's cracked up to be, because yeah, it's a job. It's, it's permanent, right? You'll always get work. But then if you mess around and, you get with a bad company, and I don't want to say my company is bad. I don't think it's bad. There are 2 locations. They're in Harlem. And, I love my kids, and it's the kids. It's the kids. That's why I'm coming. It's the kids. Unfortunately, those kids can't, pay my rent. They can't give me money to eat. But, I feel very, I feel obligated to these children, and it's just sad. Like, and so now my teaching assistant, I spoke to her this morning. She's like, girl, I'm going on an interview. I'm not coming to work. I'm like, wow. I'm like, well, girl, I hope you get it, whatever the case may be. People are fed up. People are frustrated. I've never worked for a company before that I've never got paid. It's been 3 pay periods. The last time I was paid was for the first check in July. I get, bi-weekly. So I'm missing, well, technically I'm missing 1 pay period. That's the last week of July. And then we're supposed to get paid the 7th. The 7th, which we're not going to get paid. I mean, so it's going to be 2 checks behind that they owe us. And then on top of that, we were approved for a raise, like back in like December. And so the raise hasn't come through. In touch with the union. The union are like, oh, well, we're grieving it. We're grieving it. Okay, y'all grieving it, but what are we supposed to do in the interim? We can't go apply for unemployment because technically we're still employed. And so basically, like, we're between a rock and a hard spot. And it really sucks because I don't know how long I can do it. I mean, I'm qualified. I got credentials and things like that. And so, I'm not really tripping that much. Like, I already got several schools in my current state that I live, because I'm not trying to work in New York City anymore. I don't want to deal with New York anymore. So I got several schools in my state that are interested in me. And so I'm very confident that I'll be able to get a new gig. It's just, I just feel bad about the kids. And so technically what's going to happen is, like, the enrollment is very low. All right. And that's one of the things that, they're talking about why they're shutting down these schools. If the enrollment is low, and then if they don't have enough teachers. So my thing is, enrollment is low right now at my school. Then on top of enrollment being low, teachers are leaving. So my thing is, even if they get an influx of kids that's going to come in September, which most likely, more than not, they will, you can have 1 million kids there. But if you don't have any teachers, technically, it's not going to work. The school is going to be shut down. And that's what I really believe. I believe that by September, they're not going to be there. They're going to get shut down. And it's crazy because people have been mismanaging the funds, It's a lot of stuff. And what I need to say is that, unfortunately, it's a Black-run school. And so I blame it on my own kind. Because I've worked at other schools, predominantly of other races, and I've never experienced this. And it's so sad that, I want to work with kids from the inner cities. I want to work with the children that are underserved. But then when you work with those children, you're working for people that are not professional, people that are very incompetent and a lot of times just don't know what the fuck they're doing. Excuse my French. And so it's sad because I said to myself, if I was in a school and it was, white admins and things like that, this wouldn't be going on. And it's sad. It's very sad that, your own kind is just the worst. And I don't care who on here don't like what I gotta say. You can scroll up, scroll down. It's a million people on live right now. You can get off of my channel. But the black people are the worst. Literally, they are. They are the worst. And then they wonder why, the stigma is attached to them. It didn't come out of nowhere. No, there's actions, there's experiences, there's all those things that lead to those types of, feelings and those types of, why are they biases? They're not biases. They're actually truths. They're truths. And it's very sad, just like the parents, you're bringing your child, classes 8 a.m. Arrival is 8 a.m. You're bringing your child to school at 11:30. They don't have a doctor's appointment. You're disrupting, So it's a sad thing. But I'm not mad, and I used to be mad when I would see good black teachers, even before I became a teacher. And they, they wanted nothing to do with the urban schools. They wanted nothing to do with the public charter schools. They chose to go to the suburbs because they don't have those problems with dealing with ignorant black parents that can't barely read or write. And then they want to, they're illiterate and ignorant. And so, they're no benefit to their own children. Okay, they're expecting teachers to be everything, and it's like, hold up, you're a parent. What do you do? Do you think you just hatched them? That's all you had to do was hatch them, and that's it. And so for 8 hours a day, it's all on the teacher. Yeah, for those 8 hours, it is on us. But what happens outside of the classroom? What happens when you go home? Are you reading to your children? Are you supporting whatever they're learning? Are you extending the learning? Most of you are not. All you do is get up in the morning, throw these kids in school, and that's it. On the weekends, are you reading with them? Are you helping them to write? Are you helping them with basic executive functioning? Are you helping them with their fine motor skills or their gross motor skills? Why is a 3-year-old don't know how to hold a spoon? Why is it that a 4-year-old can barely hold a cup? What are you parents doing with your children? What are you doing? What are you doing? And it's black kids. It's all black children. No other race but black children. You're not potty training your children. You're taking your child to school and you're thinking that you're getting nanny services. No, we're teachers. It's not my duty to wipe your child's messy bottom. No, that's not no, you need to teach your child how to wipe themselves. You need to teach your child how to hold a pencil. Teach your child how to hold a crayon. You understand? It's so sad. And so at the end of the day, as a teacher, that's why so many teachers are leaving the field. It has nothing to do with COVID. It has to do everything to do with you worthless, good for nothing parents, which I use that term very loosely, because a parent gives guidance, a parent gives nurture, a parent just doesn't hatch a child and put food in their stomach and keep a roof over their head. That's not a parent. That's not what a parent is. And perhaps that's why so many of your children have so many deficits. That's why they have so many challenges, because it's not so much that they're learning impaired. They have you as a worthless parent that are not there to guide them and to give them the proper support. It's disgusting. It is disgusting. And so I can't wait until it's a law, similar like China, where you hatchers are allowed one hatching. No more multiple hatches. Enough is enough. Not only is it draining the economy when working people have to, our taxpayer dollars are going to benefit you and your children, and you can't even support them or hold up to your end of the bargain. You're living in subsidized housing. You're getting government monies. And so what are you doing to ensure that your child is thriving? You're smoking marijuana around your child. You're cursing at your child. You're dealing with all types of crazy behavior and violent behavior. The man you with busting you upside your head in front of your child, busting your child upside the head, and you worthless hatchers, what do? Oh, you go and have another one. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. You have nothing. You have no education, no formal education. You have no skills. Or you have a reproductive organs, and that's all you know how to work. It's sad. It's very sad. And so, as much as I feel so disillusioned by the whole education system, particularly in America, I mean, and I'm just like, I'm over the classroom. I'm considering going to get my doctorate because I know that in order to make real change and reform in education, it has to come from the top. So as teachers, we're very limited in what we can do, and so I just feel like, it's just sad. It's very sad, and you're not even giving your kids food in the morning. The kid is coming in with a big, nasty, sugary, sprinkle-filled donut. And I'm looking at these people like, are you serious? Are you serious? I mean, it's just horrible. It's just really horrible. So I can't wait for the law to come out where you hatchers have one egg to hatch. That's it. Enough is enough. Because it's just sickening. It really is sickening. But that's my live at my lunch at live, okay? Just coming on to talk about, issues in education, primarily working for black schools, primarily dealing with black parents. It's really sad. Okay, Ghetto Flowers. Hi, friends. Thank you, friends. Thank you. Like I said, listen, I love my people. I'm black. I'm a graham cracker. I love it. I love it. I love it. But I cannot pussyfoot around it, and I cannot pretend like this is not a crisis. Literally, literally. And then for you parents that all you care about is name brand, yours the most sickening ones. I don't know if it's your worst or the one that don't. I don't know which one is worse, but your kid is coming into school with name brand Jordans and name brand this and that, and they can't even identify the letters in their name. I have one little girl, her name starts with an A. Her name is Aaliyah. She cannot identify the letter A, but she knows songs. She knows the hip hop music. She knows and so I'm saying to myself, and listen, I get it. I know that a lot of parents, particularly women, you're single mothers, you got 4, 5, 6 kids, maybe even more, no father, and listen, you made those choices, right? You decided to open up and to be reckless and irresponsible, knowing your circumstances, right? But it is what it is, because they're here and they're yours. You have to be responsible for them. But it starts somewhere. It starts somewhere. Even if you just read a little bedtime story to your children. Studies have shown, this is facts, this is actual data, that anytime children are read to, it enhances their verbal skills, their speech. It helps them to identify words and language when children are, when they are exposed to language. Parents, please, even if it's the Three Bears and Goldilocks, even if you gotta make up a story, it's important that you read to your children, okay? And like I said, I don't have kids, so I can't imagine how difficult it must be, especially if, you may not have the finances, you may not have the support. But parents, you have to start somewhere. These are your babies. They're depending on you. how the experience that they have with you is what prepares them for the outside world. And when they're neglected, and you mothers, you're so, I know life is hard. Listen, you put yourself here. It ain't their fault. You in the street cussing and carrying on at your children. Sit the so and so down, and mother so and so. It's like, oh my God, that to me is just it. That takes the cake. You're so short tempered, you're so angry, you're so frustrated, and I get it. But those babies didn't ask to be here. Your trifling behind decided to lay up, okay, with some worthless pecker, okay? And it's not those babies' fault. And I just feel like, they're suffering. They're suffering. And so I can't turn my back on these children. A lot of them don't get no support. When they come into my classroom and they get hugs and they get happy smiley faces and I'm engaged with them, so a lot of them, they're not getting that at home. All they getting is, you better go sit your so-and-so down and go in the room and watch TV. Go watch TV. Don't come out your so-and-so room while the mother's laying up with some bum, okay, creating another egg to hatch. It's disgusting. You are vile. And you don't deserve what you have. You don't. A lot of you don't. And so all I can do is pray. That's all I can do is pray to the universe. And I think about my students, the little ones, some of them, they're so dirty. My heart breaks. And that's another reason why I feel like, oh my God, I don't know how long I could take it, because emotionally I'm vested to these children. It breaks my heart. If you don't have money to wash out, to take your baby's clothes to the laundry, you got soap. Wash out their little t-shirt if they have it on today. Wash it out. It will dry overnight. It's the summertime. There's no reason why your child needs to be coming to school with a dirty t-shirt on that has multiple stains on it for 2 days. If they don't have no more clean socks, take the doggone socks out, soak them, wash them. It takes 5 minutes. Hang them up to dry. At least they will have something clean to go back to school with the next day, even if it's the same clothes, as long as it's clean. You understand? And it's that type of thing. Children coming in, their hair is matted, like they haven't combed their hair. Like, how can you have a daughter or a little boy? They're coming in cold all in their eyes. You didn't even wash the baby face. Like, you bitches. I'm trying to stay in the light. But this is the type of stuff that gets me hot. Like, literally, I'm getting hot all under my neck. I'm getting hot because this is cruelty, man. It's cruelty. It's cruelty. And when I look at you bitches, all I do is despise you. A part of me feels sorry or sad, but a part of me don't. Because at the end of the day, you knew your situation. You know you didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. So you was a selfish bitch to lay up. Yeah, okay, yeah, you had one. All right, yeah, you were young. Okay, number 2 came. Why 4, 5, and 6? When you ain't even get yourself together. That's when it borders on, oh, well, this is not just happenstance. It's you being a trifling, worthless ass bitch. Period. And if nobody didn't tell you, New Life Revolution, yeah, I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you that. Don't you dare have another child. Don't you dare bring another life into this existence. And you cannot provide for them children financially, emotionally, physically, spiritually, intellectually, nothing. You don't do that. Enough is enough. Go to the hospital, go to the gynecologist and burn those tubes. And if you can't burn them, then cut it out. Cut out that whole uterus. It's enough. It's enough. It's enough. And then we wondering why the crime is where it is. We wondering why these children are jumping into gangs. These young girls are out here into prostitution. Because you worthless ass, good for nothing ass, so-called parents, which I'm going to call you hatchers, okay, because that's all you are. You're not a parent. You're not a mother. You're a hatcher. You're no different from a bird in a tree that lays on a nest. But you know what? You are different. You're worse than that, because even the animals take care of their own, at least until they're old enough to take care of themselves. Yeah. So you women are worse than the animals that have children. Disgusting. And so When is enough enough? When is enough enough? But I said what I had to say. Shout out to the real mothers on this live, or to anybody that knows a real mother, a woman that said, you know what, yeah, I had these children. It probably wasn't the best choice at the time, but you know what? I'm not going to sit up there and be a statistic on welfare. And even if I have to go on welfare, I'm going to use it to go to school, to help me, and to a point where now I can go and help myself. Kudos to you women, because I know a lot of women that did that. A lot of women, even some of my aunts, okay, was on welfare, went into training programs, was able to take advantage, pull themselves up by their bootstraps. They're homeowners now. Yeah, their children are college graduates, okay? So it ain't about, oh, this or that. No, it's about individual choices. Point blank, period. Because a lot of you got help. You got mothers. My mother is gone. My dad is gone. You got mothers. You got parents. You got people that can stand in the gap and support you. But you don't want to do nothing. All you want to do is smoke weed, drink liquor, and chase worthless men to have more damn eggs to hatch. And enough is enough. Enough is enough. But to all of the real mothers out there, that despite what circumstances, whether you working at the McDonald's, whether you working at the Dollar Tree, whether you working passing out flyers in the mall, kudos to you. You're the true baddie, okay? You're the true baddie. Yeah, yeah. But you chicks running around with 30-inch bundles, lashes out 10 foot long, okay, and nails, and your children, that's all you worry about, so you can find a way to go and get more eggs to hatch while your children are suffering. Or you're leaving them at various people's houses and your children are being violated and touched, and you're wondering why. You're wondering why. It hasn't dawned on you why little TJ is now all of a sudden lashing out in school, and he never did that before. Or he's wetting himself, and he's never done that before. He's been potty trained. He's 11 years old, 10 years old. All of a sudden now he's having these constant nightmares, and you don't even know that the lady next door, oh, Auntie TT, yeah, she's a drunk, and you can give her $10 or $20 to go wash your kid while you go to the club and kiki all night long, and you don't know Miss TT got a nephew that come over there every once in a while, and he's some psycho pedo, and he's in there doing and violating your child, and you don't know, and you don't know, you don't know. And you wonder why some of your daughters are becoming so promiscuous. The teacher calling you, telling you, oh, she kissing boys in the closet. That's not normal little girl stuff, okay? No, all normal little girls don't do that, okay? What is happening around that little girl while she's becoming sexualized, while she's feeling a notion or having any type of physical thing with another boy or another little girl for that matter? Yeah, you don't know. Or you even taking them over to your auntie house, right? That's family. So we all safe with family, but don't know that your little cousin got issues that nobody don't know about. And he's in there putting his hands on your son or your daughter, and not in a way that's appropriate. And we're wondering why our children are going out there to gangs. We're wondering why our children don't want to listen to us. We're wondering why our children are going out there to steal and do all of these. They're acting out. They're acting out. They're hurting. And you bozos, you worthless cunts, don't have a clue. The only thing I'ma bust your ass. Wait until we get home. Oh, you acting out in class. You don't know why. You're not speaking to your child. You're not engaging with your child. And that's the thing. Y'all need to go take some parenting classes. Hell, I ain't never been a parent a day in my life, and I'm sure hell no I could do better than a lot of you worthless bitches out there that's parents. That's a fact. That's a fact. And it's sad. And it's anger. It makes me angry because these babies didn't ask to be here. And so it's your responsibility to take care of these children and guide them. Come on now. Come on now. Especially for those that know you grew up kind of twisted. Your mother wasn't there. Your mother was in the streets. Your dad was in prison or out in the streets. You know how you felt. You know the things that happened to you. So why the hell would you continue that cycle? Get help. Get help. And with that being said, friends, I couldn't even eat little dirty ass little children. I love them. Oh, why they gotta be dirty? Why they gotta be dirty? Yes, they get dirty when they're outside, but they're precious, man. They're precious, man. These little babies are precious, man. I mean, no matter how, whatever I'm going through in my personal life, you know, honestly, when I step through that door and that classroom and my students are there and they're greeting me and they're so happy to see me, it just invigorates me. It just gives me, it sends my heart chakras like open right through the roof. I'm so happy to have those little ones. Literally, they bring me so much joy. And I say to myself, I think about them and I say to myself, oh my goodness, I wonder what they're going to be when they're grown ups, you know, the lives they're going to live, you know, and I think about that and I'm so excited. And, you know, it's just a beautiful thing. You know, children are our most precious asset, literally. And so, you know, if we're not doing all we can for them, then what are we doing, friends? What are we doing? And so when we say that they're our future, I don't know, a lot of y'all think that's cliche. It's not cliche. It's actually true. It's true. It's so true. And so, you know, how we raise them and how we love them and nurture them is going to determine the people that they are and how they go and show up in the world, friends. You know? And we got to do better. We got to do better. We have to do better. We have to do better. Yes, they do. Sometimes they don't have, the parents don't even comb their hair. How are you sending your child out the door to school and it takes 2 minutes to comb your hair? Come on now. Come on. It's no excuse. But then when they go out in the street, their hair is combed. Yeah. Explain that to me. The kid is looking really rough, but then the parent is so pristine. The lashes are done. The weave is done. The nails are done. The petty is popping. Like, you know, the outfit is clean and looking like brand new. But then you look at the children and it does not add up. I come from that era where the parent will look like a bum, but better believe their children was always clean. It wasn't about name brand, okay? Not in my era, okay? Which we still wore name brand, but it wasn't about that. Things were just so different growing up in the 80s. I don't know how old many of you are on here. Maybe some of you weren't even born at that time, okay? And so actually I'm a master teacher. I'm not a daycare teacher, Ghetto Flowers. I'm a master teacher, okay? I work at a Head Start program. I've taught from 3K all the way up to high school, okay? So I'm not a daycare teacher. I'm an educator. I'm a teacher, okay? Like I said, I've taught from 3K, which is 3 years old, up into 20 years old, okay? So I've dealt with students from all over. I've taught out of state, at a residential boys' home, okay? I've worked in Catholic school, Christian schools, public schools, charter schools. So 8 years as an educator, as a teacher, okay? I got my master's degree in June of 2021, okay? And I'm currently considering going for my doctorate in education in terms of leadership and administration. But thank you. Yeah, and it doesn't matter. Listen, I'll be a daycare teacher. I'll be a baby teacher. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's more about supporting, nurturing, and guiding all students, all young people. And that's what it is. Okay? That's what it is. I love supporting young people in all types of ways, okay? So that's it. That's it. I'm considering doing high school. because the certification I just applied, I just kind of going through my certification process in the state that I live in. I don't live in New York City anymore. I live in another state. And so my credentials in New York, there's no reciprocity in the state I live in. So I have to do the certification again. And this certification is going to allow me to teach only in high school. And so I haven't taught high school students in about since 2022. And so I'm interested to getting back, and dealing with some of the older kids. But anyway, I thank everybody for tuning in. Hope y'all having a nice Tuesday afternoon. This is New Life Revolution, live at lunch. I didn't even eat my lunch yet because, yeah, I just been kicking it with you friends. Oh, thank you, Pamela. Thank you, friend. I do. I really do. I really, really do. And that's why I feel like as a classroom teacher, I'm kind of over the classroom because I know that, again, as a classroom teacher, I'm limited. It's only so much I can do. I can't make any type of changes. Everything is legislation, and I won't be able to do that until I'm qualified. And so with the doctorate in education, that will qualify me to at least be able to, go to the state, legislate for the rights of our children, particularly our children of color. Okay? But I thank you, friends. Enjoy the rest of y'all afternoon. I'm in the park. I love being in a park. And then I'll go back up in and I'll probably eat in the classroom. The babies are napping. So, yeah. But thank you so much, friends. Thank you. Please, if you guys haven't, please go to my channel and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. It matters. We are the divine conscious ones. This is the collective. And thank you, guys and girls, for being here. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I don't know, maybe later on this evening, once I get home and settled in, I'll come back live. And maybe we'll talk about like what's going on, some current events. Ghislaine is supposed to be speaking before Congress. I did a video. Ghislaine is a mark for deaf woman. I don't know if y'all care or not, but I mean, not necessarily I do, but I mean, it's interesting, this whole Epstein thing. What do y'all think? Y'all think that he killed himself, or y'all think he was killed? Put a 1 in the chat, friends, if y'all think Epstein killed himself. Put a 2 in the chat if y'all think he was killed. I'll let y'all know. I just want to see if anybody's putting anything up. Oh, thank you, Peppa Fam. Okay, 2. All right, Pamela, we got 2. Pamela says nope. She don't think that he was that he committed suicide. She don't think that. All right, Peppa Fam, 2. Okay, Muffin Shooter, 2. Wow. Well, 2 seems to be the consensus. I mean, it is only 9 of us here, but I mean, 2 is a consensus. I mean, I say 2 too. I don't believe for 1 minute that man killed himself. And I did a little video about it if y'all beautiful souls want to go and check it out. But quickly, me personally, I'll just give you my number 1 reason why I don't think he killed himself, because he was a class A narcissist. I mean, class A, certified. In terms of narcissism, he was at the top, literally. And somebody like that with such a huge God complex, they think too highly of themselves to kill themselves. I got literally goosebumps. I wish I could see it, but I have on a long sleeve shirt. I can't take off my shirt, even though I have a t-shirt underneath. Y'all won't be able to see my goosebumps. But literally, yes, that's right. Of course, that he was gonna leak something. And my thing is, I'm gonna give you my theory on Trump. Everybody's thinking, oh, well, Trump don't want to release the files because Trump was on it. Listen, Trump know that he was killed. That's, in my opinion, that's the reason why Trump is laying low. Trump knows that he was killed. That's why Trump wants nothing to do with it. He knows that man was killed, period. He knows he was killed. And so now with Ghislaine, her brother, her family, everybody is so afraid for her because they she's next. And I put a video out. I predicted how she's gonna die and everything. I said that them moving her to this less secure prison. And friends, I used to be a CO. I'll give you a quick little thing. I used to be a CO right at MDC Brooklyn, where Diddy is at. Okay, Yeah, yeah, your girl. Listen, I'm multifaceted. Yeah, so I used to be a CO there almost 4 years, and I know for sure that when they're moving in a high-profile inmate such as herself, usually they don't move them to a less secure facility. If anything, they're moving them to a more security, a facility that has higher security. So that was the first red flag. Then the second red flag is now all of a sudden they're saying that I guess this whole conference thing or this hearing in front of Congress has been put on hold. And so now with this new facility in Texas, there's no gates. Like it's a camp, right? And so in the BOP, you have camps, you have lows, you have highs, you have mediums, and then you have admins, which MDC Brooklyn is an admin. MCC New York was an admin, meaning that administrative buildings. Most of the time, they house all different classifications, and it's for pretrial inmates. Inmates that are in the process, they haven't been sentenced, right? And so, anyway, the fact of the matter that they're making it known that there's no gates on the prison in Texas. What else they said? Um, something something else that they said, but they were describing it as just being so like open. Oh, it's fewer staff. They have like low numbers of staff. So this is always in which they're throwing out the little crumbs, right? And so now when they're ready to launch the false flag, which is gonna be her being stabbed, being killed inside that prison by a female inmate. And guys, I can't go through the whole scenario, but if y'all want, y'all can go and look at the video that I did, where I was kind of giving my theory and my take on how I believe Ghislaine will be murdered. And so even if she does go and sit before Congress, that'll just be the beginning, but it'll never be an end. Well, it'll be an end, but it won't be the end that we were hoping for, which is, to see some type of, whether she's, we'll be looking for some type of decision, and it won't be. Unfortunately, she will be murdered. And I mean, that's just my belief. That's my inkling. That's what I feel. And so anyway, friends, um, every time I hear New Yorker feel like I have to take a shower. Okay, well then take more showers then, friend. Take more showers. You probably need to take a bath, and with some really hot water, and put in some Dettol and some antiseptic, and yeah. All right. But anyway, gotta go, friends. Love you for listening. To my divine ones, stay in the light. Conscious ones, collective, we're here. Thank you. Love you guys and gals for listening. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday afternoon. And until next time, friends. Peace.